Well, this is an interesting area because, if you look historically at the space program, when the Apollo astronauts landed on the moon in 1969, if you look back at the original newspaper articles around the world even, and the statements coming out of NASA, the Apollo missions were sort of perceived as being the first step, or the first armada, if you like, to having far more extensive missions, manned missions, to the moon. And there was a lot of talk about building like a moon base, a sort of a lunar colony that would be established and grow larger in size over time, and then using that as kind of a staging post to send missions to Mars, etc. And the plan was to sort of, as I said, use the original moon landings as a vehicle for going further into the solar system, etc. But it's almost the case, if you look at it in black and white terms, we made sort of a short hop, skip and jump to the moon on a few missions, came back, and then not much happened between then and the space shuttle in 1981, and that's soon to be retired. So, in other words, all these grand plans didn't come to fruition unless, as some people believe they actually did, but it was done on a more sort of clandestine basis behind the scenes. And there are a number of researchers who've made sort of valid contributions to this area about having spoken with NASA insiders and also more military insiders. Many people have suggested the idea that if there is a clandestine space program, it's actually not one of NASA's. NASA, ironically, may be in the dark. It could be some more of like a highly classified military program or something like that. And for me, if you look at the way our technology has advanced over the last, say, half a century, if you look at things like atomic weaponry or computers, the sheer extent to which they've advanced. But, the Apollo missions that went to the moon, they were just sort of basic brute force rockets. You fill a fuel tank with fuel and use it to propel a rocket into the sky. That's pretty much what happens with the space shuttle 40-something years on after we went to the moon. You just have this huge fuel tank to which the shuttle straps, basically. So it's almost like every other aspect of technology is massively advanced, but with spaceflight, we're still reliant upon regular rocketry. And to me, that kind of seems illogical, that aspect of technology wouldn't also have advanced. And I think one of the more interesting stories of recent years is that of Gary McKinnon, a British computer hacker who hacked into the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas in 2001. And as I'm sure you know, there's this big whole legal process that's been going on for years with attempts to get McKinnon extradited for trial in the United States. And his legal team say, no, he should stand trial in England, etc., etc. But, the guy's out on bail. He has to still report to his local police station. But he's not prevented from speaking out about his actions. And one of the things that he said, and which has been sort of widely reported in, the mainstream media even, never mind just UFO publications, is that he claims to have seen files on NASA computers that reference so-called non-terrestrial officers. Very sort of strange wording. And McKinnon's view, which may well be the correct one, was that, non-terrestrial obviously means not of this Earth. Officers kind of sounds like a fleet of military personnel. When you put those two together, an off-planet fleet of military personnel, it does sound almost like a secret astronaut program. And that's exactly what McKinnon concluded it could well be. And, who knows, he may be right. He may have stumbled upon, the sort of key to what lies at the heart of this clandestine space program.